will fight with honor.
Watch your back.
This hand's okay. Yeah, I mean, it's cool. All 6 of the cards are going to... Actually. Minus Duplicate and minus Stone Skin Gargoyle. The other 4 cards will, in the next wing release, will be quite good.
The light protects me.
They will see some amount of play. Sludge Belcher, Web Spinner, Loatheb, Unstable Ghoul.
Put this apple on your head.
I could coin the Deadly Poison, but I will not.
Let the pain speak to me.
I don't want this to draw multiple cards, so I will somewhat reluctantly use the Deadly Poison here.
I fight.
Do you like to play with fire?
Cute.
Pass me that arc-light spanner.
Here we go.
Looks like it's a control paladin. I mean, it pretty obviously is if it's running a card like Humility. I've played what I'm going to presume to be Kolento's deck list a few times, so I know what's up with it. I think this will be a bad matchup for me. The thing that I realized through playing this deck is that this deck might just be like, when I think of this type of board control deck, there's a few that come to mind. Zoo is one of them. It kind of runs the same theme of trying to run efficient minions, but the hero ability of the Warlocks is better at doing that than mine. And then I compare it to decks such as the Paladin control, the Druid control, the Shaman control. They all have ways of being more efficient than me in certain circumstances.
I fight.
Alright, so hit, dagger, hit, abusive, SI7. This deck is cool in that
Here we go.
there's a lot of efficient things you can do, which is what drew me to this deck, but the amount of unfairness it can do is limited. I originally thought the Nerubian Egg is going to be really unfair, and it often is, but that's like only a small piece of the unfairness. When I say unfair, I mean that all decks to some extent are created with that bit of unfairness in mind. Abuse the one good thing that your deck does. In that case, it's like huge equality combos and the hero ability. An excellent late game. Oh boy.
Here we
I have to use this Assassin's Blade to clear stuff since there's no way I can attack his house points.
Here we go.
It's such a common theme in all of these games. I clear his stuff, in the late game, I spend 2 mana. And then he rolls me over with Ancient of Lore, with Lay on Hands, with... what did Shamans do? I'm not sure. With the Zeus hero ability.
Here we go.
Follow the rules. Reporting for duty.
Hit him, go down to 5. It's
Here
rough,
we
but
go.
I have to save the backstab. Yeah, I mean, I think I did spend one day like not doing this free-to-play run, and it was a moment of reflection to some extent.
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
Here we go.
I have time and time expressed my doubts about this deck. Yeah, I think I agree that it needs to either shift later or needs to shift to earlier game. And I don't want to shift it to earlier game because there's so much to do. So I have to shift it later somehow. That's gonna make the eggs suck a lot more since you need the... You need so many of the early game cards.
Well,
This might just be one of the cases where this doesn't work.
Thank you.
Your soul shall be mine.
However, 'tis through losing that you discover these things. I think I've almost gathered enough game data to be able to make a decision on where to move, and I've started to realize that I need to change this deck's outlook a bit. Not entirely sure the absolute direction to change it though, and that's kind of what I'm still trying to figure out. A new bar ambusher has like to some extent this guy's weakness has hurt me a few times, and yet I'm like, oh well, I happen to have a low enough curve that I can usually play things back out. I keep running out of cards. There's the usual cause to make it more aggressive, but there's so much to do that I think it would be a bad choice. 2, 3, 5, 7. I can kill this in a number of ways. You gotta find the most efficient way of doing so.
Choose so many options.
Okay.
Get in there and fight, maggot.
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
I think saving the Eviscerate's pretty good.
Here we go.
This deck does have a horrific matchup against Hemlock. It's not fast enough to put on pressure, and it doesn't have enough card advantage to match the... It also has no ways to deal with the big guys. So, there's problems on multiple stages. Yet I have to kill this because otherwise
Here we go.
the threat of getting Siphon sold or something is too big. You can kind of see the desperation in the plays that I'm hitting it with my weapon instead of using Eviscerate, because I know that I won't be able to last, so I have to use my health as a resource. But, I mean, he's got so many cards, it's such an uphill climb. It's true, it's true. This deck basically has a poor matchup against the field. And yet I managed to make it up here at least. But yes, it's time to make a change. The good news is Nerubian Ambusher was better than a Yeti there. Did an extra damage.
My shield for Argus.
Here we go.
I fight.
Still just barely keeping afloat. Well, he feels absolutely no pressure. To some extent, when I look at this broadly, this was kind of built as an anti-aggro deck, but unfortunately, there weren't very much aggro decks, and the Zoo, which I thought this would have a reasonable matchup against, utilized Life Tap better.
Eyes are open.
Pass me that Arclight spanner!
Here we go.
I fight.
My shield for Argus.
1, 4, 5, 7. Put him down to 14. It's not going to be pretty. I can't exactly sacrifice my entire board to trade into the Twilight Drake either, though. I have to pray here. That's not a good strategy, but it's the one that I'm going to elect to do. And there's some suggestions of sprint. For those who didn't watch the earlier part of the run, I was using a sprint, but it ended up being too slow. So I cut it for an Azure Drake.
My shield for Argus.
Sprint's one of those cards where you're often under enough. That's actually kind of what I feared from him. The exact play he did. But I had to just hope he didn't have it. Alright.
Well played.
Tap out of that one.
I give up.
Okay. So there is a reason why a control rogue is not currently in the meta. And well, I mean, let's recap things. I've considered cards like Perdition's Blade gain a bit of an advantage. None of these cards were Kidnappers bad, Master Disguise is bad, Edmund Van Cleef, you don't play enough cards, Headcrack, hilarious, but probably not good, Patient Assassin's no good. So yeah, when you look at the rogue cards, this kind of control element, I mean, I think the way to say it best is this deck tried to be Zoo, but lacked the hero ability of Zoo. The two main other goodness things of Rogue are the Miracle variety, where you add in the preparations and the conceal, and the shadow. Whoa, what the? And the shadow step, and the auctioneer and the Leroy, and you could even do on a budget. You could run the arcane golem, and that's an interesting direction to go. Be prepared. The other option is to go with the Cold Blood, Shadow Step, Arcane Golem, no preparation, all-out rush deck with Arcane Golems and Leper Gnomes. Wait, what just... I didn't build one, did I? Just happened. But anyways, where was I? Oh, the other one is to go for an all-out rush deck with Abusive and Leper Gnome, and Argent Squire and things like Bluegill Warrior and Wolf Rider. But I don't think that's very good against the Zoo. You somehow have 2 Demon Fires. That's weird. It's like regular fire, except for it never stops burning. Help. Hilarious. What are the class cards of a... Am I a level 10 Warlock yet? Oh, I think I am. No. Oh, Mortal Coil. Oh, man. This is the midlife crisis of this free-to-play run. Okay, so I think there's 2 main practical ways to do it. But I'll think about it while doing an arena. Because no matter which direction I go, I'm going to need a little bit more gold for it, / dust. Alright, so Rogue Warrior or Mage? I mean, the not armoring up that turn ended up kind of helping also, since I had I had 3-1 out, which could actually clear something. Otherwise I might have died a turn earlier. Not sure how the math works out. But hooray, gold mark in nature. And then he dust, that helps. The good news is playing that arena gave me enough time to consider some choices, and hooray! Mark of Nature. Build. Goodbye. And I think what I've decided to do is I will keep this value rogue theme. I just I'm going to take it a bit more late game. Uh-oh. Hearthstone looks like it froze for a moment. I'll go ahead and end task that. Forked lightning too strong. Alright, where was I? Disenchanting a forked lightning. Okay, so do I have any dark iron doors? Nope. So here's the thought. Too often I basically run out of gas too early. So the two ways to handle this problem were there were 3 ways. And I was really considering number 3. Number 1 is to go all out rushy, which would involve putting in Shadow Steps and Cold Light Oracles and Arcane Golems, and then it would become somewhat like a backspace rogue. I don't think that deck is very good in the current metagame with a lot of zoo. The other method is to slow down the deck, and that's the choice that I'm going to go with. So instead of Abusive Sergeants, for example, put in Dark Iron Dwarfs. The third option I considered was to sometimes you gotta know when to call it quits and then move on to a different deck list. One that takes advantage of this board control style more, like Zoo, for example. But I want to give this its fair shot first. So I'm going to craft Dark Iron Dwarfs, which happen to also be good again with Zoo, if that ever were the case. Oh, also before doing this, I should buy packs in case I open these. So let me buy 2 of those. Come on. Another abusive. Well, I opened 2 cards that I would have loved to not spend dust on earlier. Okay, so Dark Iron Dwarf number 2. It's a good thing I never disenchant my loot hoarders. I happen to have gotten those. I think those are important as well. So Abusive Sergeant, goodbye. I might want to reconsider the Defias Ringleader, which is, well, we'll see. Anubar Ambusher. The entire reason I decided to build this deck was because of you, and very sadly, you have just not been performing up to par. You're getting replaced by Dark Iron Dwarf. Alright, I think I want an Argent Commander in here for the late game. Got the value. Alright. Let's see, what else? What can I cut for Loot Hoarder? The Shadowed Sun Cleric, I think. And perhaps the Defias Ringleader. It's oftentimes not great. A lot of the good openings I have are like Coin Ringleader. It's true. It is rare for this to perform too well. I want to put in both of these. Yeah, I think that one can go. I want to put in the second one for the card draw. I think I can toss out Shattered now that I have 2 Dark Iron Dwarf. The Shattered didn't really fit this deck anyways. It was more of a trying to use the egg card. And I think I want to put in another Defender of Argus, just because it's a value card and because I also have eggs. And it's true, oftentimes I have these early game cards out. Like, there's a lot of quote-unquote sticky minions in here. The Haunted Creeper as the Argent Squire as the egg. So Defender of Argus, more often than not, gets targets. I think I can cut a Gnomish for it. Alright, good thing I placed so well in that arena. That was some significant deck changes. Okay, so more fuel with Loot Hoarder. Cut 1 Gnomish though, but slightly more fuel. And the deck became significantly higher in mana curve. I think that is a good improvement. Comparing it side by side is kind of useful. -1 Abusive, minus a Defense Ringleader, minus Shadowed Sun Cleric, -2 Anubar Ambushers, and minus a Gnomish Inventor. The Abusive Sergeant gets upgraded into a Dark Iron Dwarf, the Shadowed Sun Cleric gets upgraded to a Dark Iron Dwarf. The Defias Ringleader is changed for Loot Hoarder. The Anubar, really the Anubar is going to Dark Iron Dwarfs, is probably the better way of thinking of it. So the Abusive and the Defias go into Loot Hoarders, which are better for sustaining, and the Shattered became a Argent Commander. And there's one more card changed. Oh, a Gnomish gets to be a Defender of Argus for more chances of buffing this egg. Okay, I think that's fine. I think that's in the right direction. We're gonna see if this works out.
Let the hunt begin.
Watch your back.
Alright, welcome to the team, Loot Hoarder. Given the popularity of classes which don't do 1 damage, I think Loot Hoarder is on the up and wow, coin steady shot. Must be really aggressive.
Mind if I roll knee?
The classic face hunter, perhaps.
Hey, give me that!
Oh man. Alright, let's do this.
Hey, give me that!
Good fourth turn. Oh man.
Do you like to play with fire?
Okay. I'll take the damage.
Here we go.
And sure, I'll play Harvest. There's some hesitation to play cards in case of the doggies, but it's alright.
Do you like to play with fire?
It's interesting, his deck is starting to look more like a control deck, so using the coin and then hero powering me was probably wrong. I'll take the damage again. I think I need to keep my stuff on board to pressure him. Welcome to the team, Argent Commander. Doing a fine job already. Okay, so I can do 4 damage to him. I probably should Blade Flurry this.
Here we go.
The light protects me. I fight.
For some reason, I completely didn't even consider Explosive Trap there. So come to think of it, Backstab hit this and then go in would have probably been better. Oh man, if this is Kill Command.
I will hunt you down.
Oh,
Well played.
that one misplay will cost me. I could have killed that. For 1 damage? But then he did top deck a Beast and Flare.